Hello and welcome to the Craft and Calling podcast. I am your host, Christine Marie, and I am so excited about today's conversation. It's one that's a little bit of a different angle and take to the question. Are you building a business that will last? Are you proud of what you're building? Are you building something that will withstand you and ultimately contribute to the legacy of your life? And I am so thrilled to be joined here by Stephanie Allen, winner of 2025 ACHR News 40 Under 40, CEO of AirWorks Solutions, founded in 2010, and co-founder of JustStart AI, which is an AI group for men and women in the trades. And, Stephanie, this conversation, we actually started it a couple of weeks ago. Or I guess it was last week that we
partner at Box for the Trades, which is a service Titan consulting company. There's the three. Sorry.
There's the three. Yes. Thank you. Partner at Box for the Trades. And Stephanie, we were talking, I think was it? It was last week that we met, and you told me you were kind of on this journey of really trying to figure out, like, what is your one thing? What is the thing that you are? It's like every single one of us has a specific one thing that we're created and here to do. I really believe that. And you know what? Maybe we have 3 to 4 things, but it's once you've kind of done the 1 to 2, okay, what's next? And really seeking to get to that next level. So it's, what does that look practically to get me to the next level? And then who do I need to become to get to that next level? And kind of match that level of calling, that level of desire. And we were talking last week and you're like, I'm trying to figure that out. And then today you joined and you're like, I figured it out. And so
it's wild because it's been a multi-year journey. Like, I have been on this journey for a very long time. And the fact that in the last week, the last couple of days, I really figured out what it is. And it's like everything has crystallized with this clarity that I just have so much fire in my belly to go right now. It's so fun.
I love it. Well, if you don't mind, what I'd actually like to do is I'd like for you to kind of share what's your one thing. And I already gave a hint to it, but also I'd like to hear the journey to get there. And then we'll dive into how to actually do this one thing that you feel called to do. So what's your one thing?
I am building a business worth keeping. And I am going to teach other people how to build a business worth keeping. Now, that might be in the trades and it might not be. But I've been on this entrepreneurial journey for 15 years. And in the last 5 or 6 years, it's been really transactional instead of relational. And we've really started to figure out, when the industry was telling us, build a business to sell, build a business worth selling. And it never felt right. It didn't resonate in my bones. Like, that's not why we started this business. And especially in the trades, there are 2 types of contractors. I say there's the contractors that came from the trades, and there's the contractors that said, looks like a good business, and they're coming in as business people. And there's no shame in either game, but it's just not how Kevin and I started AirWorks. And in the last couple of years, we've kind of lost our way. And we weren't connected in the business or the direction that we were going. And everything kind of stalled around here. And in fact, went backwards. I haven't been shy about the fact that 2025 was a really hard year for us in business. But we're on the same page and we have clarity and we know which direction we're going. And it feels so good to be done with 2025. I don't know if any of you follow it, like the year of the snake, all that skin shedding, all that stuff, it's over. We're in the year of the horse now and we are freaking ready to go.
I love it. I didn't even know that it was the year of shedding, but that did kind of feel like that for me too.
25 was rough.
Yeah. It was so rough. So building a business worth selling versus building a business worth keeping.
Yeah.
Those are huge because and I'd actually love to hear from you the major distinctions of how you as a CEO, you as a founder would approach your business that you're trying to build for the purpose of selling versus for the purpose of keeping. Like, what changes internally as you look at the business through either lens?
This is a new breakthrough. So all of these answers are raw and I'm figuring them out as I go. But I think really the difference is one is transactional and one is relational, right? And so in the business worth selling, the strategy is all about the transaction at the end. Whereas in my version, this business worth keeping, it's about the relationships along the way. I figured out that the 5 important characteristics, I think, in this framework of building a business worth keeping is: 1, you have to be profitable, right? Cash flow has to be there. 2, it has to be durable. You have to be able to weather these seasons, and you have to be able to weather the seasons of your life. 3, it has to create options. And so I get to work in the business. I don't have to. I could sell if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. I can, there's a lot of options around it. 4th, it has to make impact for me, like a massive impact. It has to make impact to the people who work in the business and the people that use the business, right? And the community. So that's really important to me. And then number 5, like, there is no reason to keep a business if it's not fun. So I think that is a very different flavor than a business that you're building to sell, because who cares if that business is fun, right? Who cares if that business is giving back to the people inside of it, because you're building it to move on.
Right. Right.
And so it's a whole different lens to look through and a whole different framework as you're building that business. And I think that's why in the last couple of years we stalled, because the world was telling me to build a business I could sell. And I didn't want to sell in my heart, and I didn't know how to do that. And people kept saying, well, give your people equity, right? And it didn't make sense to me, because if I wasn't going to sell my business, they were never going to be able to cash out on that equity. So what does that give them? So in the last couple of months, we created a unit pool that every single person on my team gets profit sharing units. And those are real life profit sharing for how we're doing this year. It's not whether we sell or not and they get to cash out.
Right. Right. It's real time.
Yeah, it's just a different model.
Right. That's so good.
And yes, if I wanted to, I could sell my business. I'm sure of it. But and I think that it's important that you build yourself an out, because you never know what life is going to provide, right? But at the same time, like, let's freaking build businesses we want to keep, and then we have the option to do whatever with it.
Yes, that's so good. So from what it sounds like you and Kevin, and is Kevin your husband or is just your partner?
Kevin's my husband.
Okay, nice.
My partner in all things. He's my baby catcher. He's he's all sorts of things.
Also, kudos to y'all for being able to stay married and stay in business together and have it grow. I mean, that's so hard.
And we have 4 kids under 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good people. Oh my gosh. So yeah, kudos first. Second, you said that you guys kind of lost your way throughout the year. So, I mean, you guys, this is year 16 for y'all. So it's been a good bit of time. And my question is, why did you guys lose your way? Is it because you started out thinking we have to build a business to sell and then it stopped resonating? Or what was kind of that process of losing your way?
I don't know if it had anything to do with that. In the beginning, like Kevin and I, we just failed forward. We made the next right choice. We didn't have a huge business design. Like, I might have a business background and I know you're supposed to have business plans, but we didn't do that, right? We led a business based on gut. And about 4 or 5 years ago, we worked with some business consultants that basically told us that if you want to grow, Kevin has to come out of the field. And when Kevin came out of the truck, I think we lost the heart of the business. And I lost Kevin. He lost his identity. And we were trying to figure out, how do we lead this business together when it used to be Kevin in the field, me in the back office and support. And then I'm in the CEO spot. I'm running the business, and Kev's like, well, where do I fit? And I have this really strong personality where I tend to take all the oxygen out of a room, and then he doesn't know where he fits in with the team. And so it's been a couple hard years of figuring that out. We're married and in business because of sheer determination and the fact that we're not going to lose.
Yeah, right. The determination aspect is so huge. You mentioned that a little bit in terms of durability. the individuals themselves need to be durable in addition to the business.
Yeah.
You know, are we going to be able to withstand, to your point of weathering the storms? So I love the openness in saying that you have a strong drive and you have a personality type that sometimes can clash with his. How did you guys on the interpersonal side kind of make it through those dynamics? Like give us one or two things that for other, because there's a lot of family owned businesses. We actually love working with family owned businesses from Foundation First Marketing. And man, family owned, I come from a family owned business, and it adds a layer of complexity. It adds a layer of honestly frustration, because you can't just act like you would if you didn't care about, you know, the decades long relationship and moving forward, and that this person and I are going to be existing together for the next 40 years. So there's an element of restriction, I think, and
I mean, I
balance.
try to fire him all the time, but he doesn't go anywhere.
I love it. And I mean, you're CEO, right? So what's his title?
CVO, Chief Visionary Officer, which I'm not sure it totally fits either. Right now, Kevin's really boots on the ground. Like he's running operations
Yeah.
of the business. And I think he's gonna flourish in that spot. Yeah.
So he just recently moved over to that place, to that role.
Yeah, he's just recently like dug back in. I think that he's really seen the business needs him.
Yeah.
Kevin is an excellent cheerleader. He's an excellent coach. He can like see the big picture, and he's phenomenal at sales. So we took for granted how good he was, and we just thought everyone was that good. And it turns out it was him. And
I love that.
We didn't understand that he had a sales system. We thought people would just come in and plug in their own system. So we've kind of had to reverse engineer. And now we have a director of sales, and we have some systems in place. And this year, my two words, one is systems and the second is unleashed. And I knew that I had to figure out how I could just like freaking go. And so I've been doing a lot of personal development work. I've been working with coaches, and that's kind of where all of this came together to crystallize this is the mission, and why it's so critical that AirWorks works and is so successful, because it is my test case to this building a business worth keeping framework.
So I've got a couple questions from folks here in the chat. Smartman -N says, are y'all integrating AI into your business?
Oh, yes. Yeah. So one of the businesses that I'm involved in is called JustStart AI. And we are heavily integrating AI in a lot of different places. And so that has been an interesting journey on creating efficiencies in the business and flex adapting. What I say, though, is AI is a superhero cape, right? And when I put that cape on, it creates really, like, it gives me superpowers, but I'm a critical element of that. And so are all of my people. Like, I want them to put their capes on, but that cape is useless if the human is not ready to wear it. We believe in kind of like the barbell approach. So when we invest in AI on one side, we also have to invest in our humans on the other side. The more we invest in AI, the more we invest in our humans, and then we just keep doing reps to get stronger.
I love this, the equal investment of AI into the people. Frankly, Stephanie, I've never heard somebody say that, and that makes so much sense. And I mean, especially because in this trade space specifically, there's so much, it's like there's a lot of fear, you know, in general, but in this space particularly, it just seems like so foreign. What is this thing that's going to potentially take my jobs? And there's also the other perspective of trades is not going to be impacted by this at all because it's so manual.
We're definitely going to be impacted. We're definitely going to be impacted, but I think for the better. I think we're going to get highlighted. There'll be a magnifying glass on how crucial people are in the trades, right? Like the efficiencies of the back office, we're going to have to embrace AI. Finding customers, right? The way that we market, we're going to have to embrace AI. But the trades, working with your hands, it's such a noble profession. It's not something that can be duplicated by an agent or a bot. And so I think we're going to have an influx of people coming into the trades looking for work. And we're really going to have to be critical on who is skilled to be here.
Yes.
That also means we have to have businesses that are standing up for doing really good work and not just selling things. The way the trades are going, if us independent businesses don't continue to stand up for good workmanship and service over sales, all we're going to do is replace boxes.
I love that, the service over sales. You know, one of the biggest things that I've really been leaning into is experience. What's the experience you're giving your customers? And that's going to be the number one differentiator, because if your number one differentiator is the price, it's just going to be a race to the bottom. But when you really are committed to giving a great experience, and that great experience needs to be rooted in your values and who are you as a company, because that means that then it's going to be authentic differentiation rather than you're just trying to be flashy and, you know, sunshine and rainbows. It's like, no, actually, we know who we are so well that we cannot help but be differentiated because we know who we are. And a lot of folks don't have that clarity. So even Stephanie, you doing the work to know who you are as the leader, as the founder and CEO, that transcends down into the quality of the business and thus the experience for each customer and each employee. One quick question here that Explorer 649 asks that it just follows up beautifully to what you're saying. How he says, nowadays, as AI can do and automate most of the jobs, what are the types of jobs you still are looking for, and what are the skills?
Well, definitely people in the field, right? And the people in the field have to have great soft skills, because the way we differentiate ourselves is providing that really incredible experience in the home. Not only do we have to be very technical, we have to be able to meet the customer where they are. And that changes in every house that you go into, right? How do they want to be spoken to? What information are we educating them on? What's important to them? And what does their system look like? So we're definitely investing in the right culture and technical fit in the field. And then when we have humans in our back office, they have to be really good, because they are going to be essentially orchestrating a team of agents, and they have to be the ones that have massive critical thinking skills. They're able to prompt and direct well, and then they're able to pivot quickly. So right now, I believe that, I mean, we're all learning in AI, right? None of us are masters. None of us know the exact answer. And so we're trying stuff out. When we started with AI voice, my customers hated it. And then I figured out they hated being forced into the option. But when I gave them choice, so on the phone tree, when I said, you know, thank you so much for calling. We're playing with some really cool technology right now. If you want to try our AI agent, go ahead and press 1. If you want to leave a message and we'll get back to you when we can, press 2.
So
they felt heard and seen. Most people went to the agent and nobody complained anymore.
I love that. Again, I haven't heard anybody do that. So kudos to you guys for listening to the customer, because there is something around people feeling trapped. I know, honestly, I feel that way when I'm forced to talk to the agent and they do not understand. I just want to talk to a customer representative.
Right. And so it's been really important to me that as I select tools, my AI tools will always allow a human in the loop. And so the tools that I'm choosing will route back to a human if necessary, but I'd like my front line to be AI. So I'm AI first, and then a human in the loop as necessary.
Right. Right.
Which means my humans have to be really good, because if someone comes through human, it's because it's an escalated issue.
I really love that. And, you know, someone here in the chat, Kado says, you know, he says this is, or she, sorry, Kato, I don't know if you're a man or woman. You know, this is really crazy when business is really comparing humans to AI these days. And unfortunately, this is the world that we live in. And I also, I have my own theory on the importance of humans, and also what are the core differentiations between the humans and AI, because I think that that's an important question. There is a lot of IQ that AI is replacing, the logic, the reasoning, the skills being done. Whereas I think that the EQ, the emotional intelligence of an individual, really is in so many ways the differentiator. But
It is for
also,
right now.
it
It
is
is
for
for
right
right
now.
now, but they're getting more emotionally smart too.
Well, and Stephanie, I'm hearing more and more people who are really struggling because they started. I heard this one man, he was training an AI companion. So he was going in and building out one of the first iterations of the AI companion. And he would go home to his wife and girls and be like, what do you guys think I should ask like, what do you think of these questions? And so then they were all kind of working together. But eventually he had to quit his job because he was so emotionally invested in this AI, where he felt like he had to choose between the AI and his family. So to Cato, your point, it is sad in some ways, and it's crazy. This is unprecedented. In some ways, there's been these like movies that have shown this years ago of like the future where people are in love with robots, but we're seeing that now. Some of the statistics are insane of like, in high school, is it like what 40% of high schoolers are finding more friendship with their AI bots than in person? There's crazy statistics.
You know what's interesting though is, so I do a lot of conversational chat GPT work, and I think it's because it's a mirror, right? And so it's my thought partner. I'm able to work back and forth with it. At least that's how I use ChatGPT. I know that I talk to think instead of think before I talk. And so I'm able to do that in that space. And I work with it a lot. And I find myself referencing chat with people all the time. And some think I'm crazy because I haven't adopted it at all yet. But I think that it's really important for us to understand its limitations, and then where the human dynamic and contact is critical, right? And I don't get joy from dealing with my chat GPT. Joy comes from my family. Joy comes from my husband and my kids. And if I can create more space, more time to be with them because I'm efficient in getting my to-do list done, then so be it.
Yes, that's so good. I love that. And I've got a couple of questions from Explorer that I'll get to here in just a minute. But Smartman asked this question that I'd love to kind of back up and get kind of dive into the human perspective, and then we'll come back to the questions on AI. Did you have any hardships in your journey, and how did you get through those tough times?
I mean, how personal do you want to get? So of course, yeah, we've had plenty of hardships. I've had 4 kids in the last decade. I've been pregnant 7 times. That means that there was 3 losses there. My parents divorced, and my mom had big emotional, mental health issues, and Kevin helped carry us through that. The business in this last year, we had to personally invest in it to keep it alive. And it's the first year that we've had to pump significant personal money back into the business. But all of those issues, I think, have made us stronger and made us realize what is it that is important to us, and why are we on this journey?
Yes.
Someone recently asked, why don't you let it go? Like, are you just too stubborn to let it go? And I don't know if the grit part is part of that, but I think that I know that we've built a business worth keeping, and I'm willing to fight for it.
So good. So good, Stephanie. I know that we built a business worth keeping, and you're willing to fight for it. And that's the thing. How do we build a business worth keeping? What are some of those core tenets of what constitutes a business worth keeping to begin with, so that somebody could, to your point, look in the mirror and look at their business and say, yeah, I'm actually on the right path of building a business worth keeping. You talked about some core tenets at the beginning. It's durable. It can weather the storm. It has impact internally in the people working at the business and people who use it. And is it fun? I love that question. I love fun. And frankly, I think we need a lot more play in our lives than ever before because of this very thing. Life is really hard, to your point of the
It's
miscarriage.
not fun. Go build a different business that is fun.
Yeah, yeah. And my a friend of mine, he's got multiple businesses, and he talks about how business is his sandbox, and it's like that's where I go and play. And I just love that concept. We can take business so seriously and it burns us out, and so that concept of play is really, really important as a hallmark before starting a business and even an evaluation of the business. And even to that point, Stephanie, of somebody saying like, why not give up? It's like, no, I'm having fun. I'm playing. Like, this is a good time. Oh, my alarm's going off. Okay. So the next question, this is by Explorer. Do you think in the near future we will get a company fully operated by AI from top level decision makers to bottom level employees?
Yes, I absolutely do. I think it depends on what industry they're in, on how that can be delivered, but we're seeing it already.
It's such an interesting question, Explorer. I haven't thought about that particularly. So where are we seeing that already? Like, what are some examples that you're seeing?
I mean, even my marketing company has been able to let go of hundreds of humans, and they're doing most of that work automated. I think that there's probably going to be one puppet master, agent master at the top, right? There's the
Right.
Wizard of Oz type thing. But I see multi-million, if not billion-dollar companies ran with one human and an army of agents.
It's so interesting what's possible. Yeah. All right. Stephanie, what else in terms of building a business that lasts? How do we get started in transitioning from a business that sells to a business worth keeping?
Well, I think you have to ask yourself, is this the one, right? Is this the forever home? Is it the one that has space for everything that's important to me? Or is this just one of the businesses along the way, right? Because not every business is the one that's worth keeping, and not every business is going to be your forever home. Some of them are here to teach you things, and some of them are here to be the vehicle to that next step, right? So I'd say do an analysis. And if you feel like it is, then what parts are missing? So for me right now, profitability, I got to figure that out, right? And I also have to figure out some of these options and fun, right? When I started looking at this business as work, and it lost some of the fun. My husband and I were talking about like what lights us up. And I'm a generator. I don't know if you follow human design at all.
No, I've heard of it. Can you give some context around human design? But I haven't done it.
Human design is about energy, right? It takes like your birth time, your birthplace, your birthday, and then tells you all about you. So it's freaking mind blowing. I use a free human design generator online, and I have my chat GPT do an analysis for me. But I'm a generator. I'm not an initiator. And so I respond, I accelerate. I get really excited with builder energy. So I know that I need a partner in whatever I'm going into. The reason AirWorks works so well for me is because it was Kevin's dream. I got to accelerate, right? Doing my own thing is really hard. And so I think that you have to figure out who you are, and does the business fit your personality and your unique geniuses.
I love that. And I'd love to actually dig into a little bit of, you have to figure out who you are. How does one go about doing that?
Shoot, I'm still figuring that out for sure. There's a lot of exploration into that space. I'm working with some great coaches. I've made a lot of investment into my own personal development and leadership development. And they're very different things. Personal development is very different from leadership development. Right now, one of the things I'm working through is what is my rich life, right? What defines my rich life? What does that feel like? And it's not money. At least it's not for me in that definition. And so, mine has a lot to do with impact. And I truly believe that these businesses that I'm building have a ripple effect of impact. Um, but I'm excited to bring this whole framework even higher than those. Like, it's just the example
Yeah.
that this theory is true. We don't have to sell something for it to create massive impact and generational wealth. It
Yes.
can be done by keeping it, but we need the roadmap. And so I'm here to build that roadmap with you.
I love that, Stephanie. I love it's debunking the myth that in order to do generational wealth, you have to get rid of the business effectively. And to your point of a rich life doesn't mean money. Our family business is 103 years old. And
Congratulations.
someone thank you. I mean, thank you. I didn't do it. But I had somebody reflect back. They were like, think of how many people you've served in terms of customers. Think of all the employees over the years. Think of how your families, 4 families, like of the nucleus, much less so extended family, have really been changed as a result of this. Like, how cool is that?
Beautiful.
Yeah. And so when we start thinking, to your point of asking that question, thinking bigger, what is my rich life? What a good question of looking in the mirror and really figuring out the answer to that. And it will probably, I don't know if you felt this way, but whenever I do the work of kind of asking myself some of those harder questions, I always find out something surprising. It's not what I thought. And once I'm willing to let the answers not be what I thought that they would be, and kind of like let go of controlling the outcome, man, it's exciting. And then
Really interesting you say that. I feel like in this season, I'm figuring out that when it's easy and there's no friction is
mm,
the direction that I need to go. And I was so hard-headed, I was fighting for it before,
mm,
right? I was like, I know this success is going to be hard, but I'm in it. And it
mm,
turns out it doesn't have to be hard.
mm,
There are
yeah,
hard seasons, but
yeah,
embracing what the universe is giving you and finding that path, there's
mm.
like there's ease in that and there's peace.
Yes. Yeah. I love it. Um, I find it to be so interesting when we switch the desired outcome from one of wealth or some tangible output to one of peace. When we're actually willing to allow for peace to be a KPI in our lives, a key performance indicator. That all of a sudden everything changes. Oh my gosh. There's another question. Explorer asked 7 questions. So Explorer, I'm picking through some of these because I can't answer all or ask all of these. But he did ask this question. This is a little bit more general. Do you think AI will make products more accessible to people, or will it make it costlier?
Definitely more accessible. Because I think that there's less investment that has to go into the creation of that product. I think we're in the messy middle right now
Mm,
where we're figuring that out and we're building infrastructure. And we're all learning how to prompt, how to use AI, et cetera. And so
mm,
there's more cost in this time.
mhm,
But otherwise, I think that more and more product is going to be accessible. As a matter of fact, I think that AI is leveling the playing field in a lot of ways. So as a small business, I'm actually able to like utilize AI to work as if I was a much larger business. I have the tools in front of me now. The gatekeepers aren't there.
Stephanie, thank you so much for your
Yeah.
time. This has been so, so, so good. I'm curious, maybe this is a question that you'd want to put off for now, but someone says, how do you calculate IRR, internal rate of return? Which I thought was a good question, but I don't know if you want to dive into that since we're kind of wrapping up here.
I don't know exactly where they're going with that, right? But internal rate of return to me is fulfillment,
Mm,
right? And I believe, that trite saying, like if you love what you're doing, you'll never work a day of your life. If it feels like work, your IRR is low. But if it's fun and you want to keep going and you want to keep building and you want to keep contributing, then it's high. And so I think my IRR is going to be, how many people can I impact? How much change, positive change? How much light can I bring to the world? Because I don't believe in spreading darkness. Like, I want to be a beacon of light and possibility.
Yes.
Yes, there is change. Yes, it is scary. And that's why JustStart AI was born, because my girlfriend, Jennifer Bagley, is freaking brilliant. And I was terrified. And I thought, stop talking about doomsday, right? And then I figured out there's a lot of possibility here, but we have to get started. And as contractors, we're so resistant to that change. But really, baby steps. 1% better every day, 1% more understanding every day, we're going to get somewhere. So let's just start. Figure it out. And then, build your boundaries. If you decide that you don't want to have AI replace humans in your business, okay. I don't think that's realistic, but okay. But use it as a thought partner. Use it somewhere and start to become more familiar. As a business owner, it doesn't matter if you embrace AI or not, your customers are going to. So you need to be able to meet your customers where they are.
So good. And honestly, this is where the humans involved with AI is so important, because Cato says, how do we ensure that there's accountability? We need to have people involved. And I would say, for the purpose of accountability, for the purpose of, someone needs to be in charge of the final deliverable and the initial input. And so with holding
and along the way, because I have AI helps me with my social posts and other things. I'm like, yeah, that sounds good, but that's not what I want at all. Like, let's pivot this way. And so I think that you really have to be guardrails for sure.
So good. Stephanie, thank you so much for joining today. This was such a good conversation. It's wild, the direction we're going in the trade space. And to your point, baby steps. It doesn't need to be all at once. But to your point, just start using it. Just start AI.
You can find us at juststartai.io. Join the community. It's free. And we have content for high-level users and entry.
Wonderful. Yeah. Amazing. Stephanie, thank you so much. Y'all, thank you for joining us today. Any last words before we close?
I wish you all find your purpose, whatever it is that your calling is to do. Stay curious, stay open, and keep shining that light.
Love it. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Y'all, thank you so much.